What's up? This is Dominic D'Angelo, and it is a Wednesday. It's Rumor Innuendo, and I am of SCScoops.com, adfreeshows.com, and I am here, per usual, not yesterday, but per usual, with Robert Karpelis, WE Creative _ish. Robert, good to be back in the thick of things, man.
So I'm glad that Dom was able to take some time away from hanging out with Jeremy Renner and being the number 2 on the call sheet for, I want to say, do you know the name of the show that you were on, Dom?
Mayor of Kingstown.
There you go. Dom texted 3 different names of what this show was called. He combined the Mayor of Easttown, which was a Kate Winslet show from a couple years, with the Mayor of Kingstown with something else, maybe something Eddie Kingston related. I don't know. I got to be honest, dude. I am nervous as we sit here today. I've got concert ticket pre-sale that starts at what I thought was noon Eastern, noon Central time.
Oh my!
So I'm sitting here getting ready to feverishly click refresh or reload or whatever. Not a fan of that. What I am a fan of being back here with you today, man. And all of our folks joining us live. Shout out to a couple of folks here. Christopher Zanto, good morning, party people. Let's hook them up. Yeah. Antonio Santos, no relation because it's spelled completely different, not even close to the same name. Happy Wednesday. Let's sit under the learning tree that is Rumor and Innuendo, not Jericho's. It's scary over there. Good news, you don't need an NDA to sit under our learning tree. And Dre Owens said, it's Omega Wednesday, not Omega 3 Wednesday. Maybe it's a new sponsor. I don't know, but thanks to you joining us here live. Dom, what do we got cooking?
Boy, we got a lot to cover today. AEW Dynamite. We got Swerve's thoughts on the locker room morale after all this hubbub going on in AEW. We got Drew McIntyre trusting in Triple H. We might have a new Billy in the CW in our Vince McMahon PR firm news. We've been like,
yeah, that's all right. Fun peek behind the curtain. Dom put this on the schedule like last Thursday. It was like, we're going to talk about Vince's new PR thing. And a bunch of other stuff just kept happening, and we just never got to it. So it's a story worth getting to. We will get to that. And just to clarify for Alt Jake, who was asking what band or artist, it is the band Guster, my all-time favorite band. They are playing a show in Nashville, Tennessee, which is also the home of that terrible, horrible, no good, very bad Jeff Jarrett, who keeps bumping us every Monday from ad-free shows. So Jarrett, if I get these tickets, I'm coming to Nashville. I'm coming for you.
Oh, boy. Hey, Guster's coming to Pittsburgh, too, again. So how about that?
Oh, yeah, but I'm not going to Pittsburgh.
Come on to Pittsburgh, Robert. You can crash on my couch.
The cultural advancement is we put French fries on the sandwich with white bread.
Yes.
You guys are really, it's cutting edge.
Cutting edge stuff over here.
Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. No. We're here to talk about AEW Dynamite, which is tonight. Hard to believe it's only been a week.
Right? It feels like a month.
We have lived a year in a week with AEW.
My goodness. Reports are going nuts saying that probably Tony Khan is not going to be there tonight. After that devastating injury he took, and then wearing that neck brace over NFL draft week. But we do have the return of Kenny Omega.
Hold on, time out. I just realized something.
Yes.
Maybe this is on me, guys. I'm going to take ownership.
Uh-oh.
AEW has another television program called Collision that aired on Saturday.
Oh, yes.
Did they even address the fact that the president has been attacked and there's mass chaos? Because I didn't see it anywhere. I know they were touting big numbers because it was after the NBA and it was Swerve's first promo. My DVR could not figure out how to tape Collision because of the NBA. But that's more on me, and that's more on, I just didn't really care enough to look it up. But I just realized I don't know if there's been any fallout from this. So
not yet. And you know what? It's kind of weird. It's like Richie Cunningham's brother in Happy Days. He went up the stairs and never came back. You know,
that's actually who's going to be taking over while Tony's out.
Is it Ron Howard or Richie Cunningham's brother?
It's going to be Richie Cunningham. Is going to be stepping up there with the youngest daughter from Family Matters who vanished.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. We're getting them all.
Get them all covered. But yes, also on returning tonight is Samoa Joe. He will be back facing Isaiah Cassidy in singles action. We got Claudio Castagnoli taking on. I said it wrong. Did I say?
I know. Look, I'm gonna forgive that because
Castagnoli.
You're a big time actor now. You don't have
I'm
time to learn how to pronounce the little people's name. By the way, shout out to Christopher Reed who just wrote Potsy. Look,
yes.
we're all here for Happy Days references,
references.
kids.
Brian Cage will take on Claudio. Adam Copeland, the Cope Open, is going to be against a member of the House of Black. Is it a new member? Is it a retaining member? Who is it? Like I said, Kenny Omega returns. Orange Cassidy, we'll hear from him after the best friends have broken up brutally. And then we got Mariah May taking on Serena Deeb.
All right, here's why I love you, Dom.
Mm-hmm.
Best in the business. Title of the episode.
Yes.
You put up there. The Utah Kenny Omega returns.
Yes.
While reading the preview, the only thing that you glossed over with absolutely no enthusiasm whatsoever, like Kenny Omega returns. I love you for that.
I was channeling my Excalibur, after Swerve won the title. That's what I was doing.
You would have been yelling everything quickly and being far more esoteric. The PWG main eventer from the 2007 Reseda show with Matt McCarthy in the crowd.
Matt McCarthy, yes.
That level of detail right there. We love.
You watch wrestling.
All the folks that we watch wrestling. I still love that podcast.
That's great. But yes.
Sorry, I've derailed this whole episode. You were not here yesterday. I had to shepherd things for poor Zach. And he was in his office. There was ceiling tiles. Here you are trying to keep things in line. I'm just here waiting until there's a chance for a Blue Chew ad read.
Wait, it's going to be
80% of why I'm here.
I think you're going to have a good segue coming up with that.
Are you implying that I've ever not stuck the landing on a Blue Chew ad read? Seamless, guys. Totally seamless.
You're like Ted Williams of that. You're like the Ted Williams of.
I'm like, yes, freeze my head and call me Teddy.
Freeze your head. Which one, Robert? We'll find out. Blue Chew plug. Kenny Omega returning. How are you going to do it, Robert?
How am I going to do it? Well, my guess is Kenny's going to go out there and he's going to show us those promo skills that we know that Jim Cornette absolutely loves, which is, he's going to go out there and try to be conflicted. His friends or his former friends, the Young Bucks, not only have attacked Tony Khan, they have attacked the very foundation with which AEW was built on. They fired Kenny Omega from the Elite, but we also don't know how he is physically. Condition-wise, I don't know if Kenny Omega is able to engage in any sort of physicality. It seemed pretty serious before. So I don't know if this is to try to bridge the gap a week until Tony Khan is back, but I think it's got to be Kenny just being like, guys, what the hell? And we'll see where that goes. But because it's a Kenny Omega promo, it's going to be rough going. Hell of a wrestler, but
I don't think Kenny's that bad of a promo, though, to be honest. There's when he was the cokehead kind of champion with the Harley Race mustache.
Did you just call him the cokehead champion?
Yeah, because he had like that cokehead mentality going into it, and it was I liked his delivery, and I thought it was fun and erratic and kind of engaging. Ken in the chat did say it. Oh no, that's wrong. I'm sorry, Ken. Dre Owens says, who's the new AEW authority figure? My money is on Kenny. They were talking. That's what Tony said. He said there's going to be a power struggle tonight, Robert. So is Kenny, would he be an authority figure while he recuperates from the diverticulitis here in that situation?
Here's what I don't understand.
I don't understand a lot, though, Robert. With
this. AEW had one of the all-time mic men. Mm-hmm. They had Arn Anderson.
Yes.
In the back. Nothing to do. Wearing a tracksuit, carrying around a Waffle House menu, pretending it's a playbook. Let that dude be your authority figure. No one's going to question Arn Anderson.
No.
My personal pick, because I'm a sick person, is QT Marshall.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to see QT in that role, but whoever's going to be the authority needs to be a strong babyface, because Tony went out as a pretty weak babyface, and there's a vacuum of power, and it's someone who needs to be able to stand up to the Bucks. The problem that you run into is it's that Sergeant Slaughter DX dynamic. And I'm going very niche from a long time ago, and a lot of fans were not actually watching, even though like, oh, I watched that. No, you didn't. These are the people who said they saw Office Space in the theaters. I was in that movie theater. There were 3 people other than me and my buddy to see that movie opening weekend. Anyway, I think that saying where there's going to be an authority figure is helpful for AEW. I think that's something that the company has needed. You need someone who's, the buck stops here, no pun intended. But you need someone who's going to be respected by the audience and be able to convey the messaging clearly. And Kenny Omega should not be that guy, because then it's, again, wrestlers on top of wrestlers. You want someone that is unimpeachable. Where's Jack Tunney?
I think he's long dead.
Yeah, he's long dead. He's gone. He is unavailable.
He's not going to be.
Dom is also unavailable on the off chance other premium cable shows are reaching out. That's and right. They need you for House of the Dragon or something.
Ooh, okay.
You could play a drug dealer on there too.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, Arn Anderson. Give me Arn. Perfect. It's just like,
oh no,
complete. Oh, what's the matter?
What if it's Jarrett?
Maybe our Mondays would open up. He's got more on his schedule to do, and so then I'm for it. Right.
Look, my pick, guys. I think we all know we want the guy who's cool under pressure. Something happened to Mercedes. Someone help. Get Alex Marvez in there. That's what the people want.
Yes.
They want more Marvez.
Mm-hmm. Big Steely Dan fan, though. So I'm for that.
Why do you know this?
I've associated with him on Twitter about Steely Dan before. So
that is so fun. Alex Marvez. Now we're on a weird tangent. I don't care.
That's fine.
The hell with the Vince PR news. Alex Marvez years and years ago used to have a column down here in South Florida, and it was the Sun Sentinel, where it was like wrestling news. This is when you didn't have really the internet. This is like 93, 94. And it was like this little thing in like the tail end of the section of the newspaper. And I would always go and read it. It's where I would get my wrestling news. And he had a hotline. It was a free hotline, but it was the local, like you call up the Sun Sentinel news and they'll read you the news in a world before internet. And it was the first time I had heard that WCW was creating a Monday night show called Nitro.
Oh.
So that is what I always associate Alex Marvez with.
He broke the news to you.
He broke the news to me, and someone's going to break the news tonight that they're going to let someone that's not Tony Khan be the authority figure. I saw that Matt Buswell here suggested American Dragon is the only choice. Brian doesn't want to be an authority figure. He hates being an authority figure. He wants to be a wrestler.
Ric Flair, woo.
Oh, Stuart Green, you are an agent of chaos. I am perversely here for Ric Flair going out there. Yeah, if you thought the women's division was problematic now.
Hey, here's Ken. He says, why not Big Show? I mean, he's been treated like a foil most of his career, but if someone tries to bow up to him, he can realistically take them down. Not bad. I like it, Ken.
It's tough to have an authority figure who's bigger and more imposing than all of your roster combined.
Right. He's the biggest guy on your roster.
Like it's like him and Mark Henry are there. They're good on the microphone. But anyway, we could go down this path for days, weeks, months, and years. But we're not, because we're gonna find out tonight.
Right? You know what? You want to have a big show in the bedroom, Robert?
No, you're trying to force it. And you can't force it, guys. You want it to happen naturally. But sometimes when you want it to happen naturally, you want a little extra enhancement. And that's because this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Guys, remember the days when you're always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Visit BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. When you got one of these ready to go, you can be like vintage Ric Flair. you can be getting Space Mountain ready to go. Maybe the oldest ride, but it's always got the longest lines. And guys, Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Space Mountain's an analogy for sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Well, we do have Dynamite tonight, and Swerve Strickland will most likely be on it. He had a little comment about the locker room, and this was on an AEW podcast or an AEW YouTube clip, something like that. But speaking...
Tom, you're the best in the business.
Thanks. Speaking to Renee Paquette, he says, right now, I think the locker room is just on a whole nother morale level. Everybody knows you can't half-step at all now. The guy next to you is Okada. The guy next to him is Pac. The guy next to him is Copeland. The guy next to him is Hobbs and Kyle Fletcher, who are hungry. The guy next to them is Daniel Garcia. The guy next to them is the Lucha Brothers. The guy next to them is Ospreay, who can carve out a classic at the snap of his fingers. The guys next to them are Mogul Embassy. So the depth is insane. Then he also goes on to mention the people that are injured, like a Kenny Omega or Keith Lee, other things like that. Swerve, new champion, taking the helm as the captain of the team basically here. How do you like it? Do you think he's going to be that ambassador moving forward with AEW in regards to just having that crossover ability, certain things like that? What do you think of Swerve as a big leader for AEW in the locker room?
Swerve's a hell of a leader for the locker room, and he's not wrong. The AEW locker room, the depth of talent they have is insane. Our issues with AEW, our concerns more than anything else, have been around leadership, around storytelling, and around long-term strategy. The thing that they have on lock is one of the best wrestling locker rooms on the planet. The challenge that we've run into is they would have these 5, 6, 7-star matches and no real follow-through. Nothing significant happens after them. So they're just kind of shouting in a void. So to Swerve's point, when these guys go out there and they get ring time, they know that they have to over-deliver because, hey, you phone it in. You're not very good in the ring. Guess what? We got Okada. We got Adam Copeland. Like, we got Penta and Phoenix. We got guys, and we don't need to put you on TV just to put you on TV. So their talent has never slacked. They've never half-assed it in the ring. They've given it their all. Swerve is a guy who understands what it takes. He's a king of self-promotion. He has made his hip-hop career bigger than it ever would have been because of the platforms that he's been given. He has put himself in situations where he was able to bring a guy like Rick Ross to AEW. He's put himself in situations where he's thrown out the first pitch at baseball games based on his own merits, his own skills. So I think Swerve as the guy to show when you work hard, when you bust your ass, you're going to be successful. And he knows that if he steps, he has one misstep, one sidestep, there's 10 guys ready to go and take his spot.
That's the thing, too. And, I've been only interacted with Swerve a little bit backstage, but his demeanor is cool. It's, calm, collected, but he's also, like you say, a go-getter about things. And so I think him being on top of everything and kind of having that mindset of what we can do to kind of expand the AEW brand, it's a good position to be in. And I really hope, Tony and the creative crew kind of wise up to be like, hey, let's make the most of all this and try to get things going and stuff like that. So hopefully he can be a big, good Band-Aid for the team there. Huh? How about that? Somebody that's a big, good Band-Aid for WWE, and Drew McIntyre thinks so, is Triple H. Drew took to social media yesterday and just put his confidence behind Triple H and what he's doing after just recently being announced that he resigned. He said, I trusted Triple H when he brought me in back in 2017, and I trust him now to lead the evolution of our industry. Here's to the future. Robert, basically just kind of wanted to cover the ground of how do you think, the draft, I have my thoughts about the draft afterwards too, but has Triple H given you enough confidence in what he's been able to do through WrestleMania, through after WrestleMania here coming forth? and moving forward as the guy that really is helming the ship. It just seems like WWE's on all cylinders right now, despite even what happened at the draft, I think.
So the draft is sort of indicative of the fact that they're firing on all cylinders, and everything is just sort of clicking for them creatively. The guys that they want to see take off have taken off. The presentation of a lot of these wrestlers has improved dramatically. Mm-hmm. They've put these people into positions and given them the opportunities to succeed. I think the most important thing when it comes to Triple H is when you see a storyline start, you know you're going to get a payoff.
Yeah.
It's going somewhere. It's building to something. You as a viewer can invest in what's happening. Because whether it was his idea or something that came to him from the writing team, it's gone through a vetting process. There's been a conversation. It's not just doing stuff for the sake of doing it. When Not Dom was on yesterday, we talked about the old drafts where in the past where Vince would just shake things up because he just likes shaking things up.
Right.
And that's not what's best for the product. What was best for the product, even if we didn't think it was super entertaining, was keeping the rosters generally how they are. Moved a couple of key pieces, moving Ray and the LWO over to Raw. Fine. Moving Damage Control to Raw and then shifting a bunch of women over to SmackDown. Fine. They just moved Cody to SmackDown. That's the thing I think we kind of forget. The call-ups made a lot of sense. And it feels like even with Backlash being kind of a throwaway PLE, and we'll talk about previewing it probably on Friday a little bit, very strong card. Should be a really fun show, even for a very much a B show. So I think there's the right reason for there to be confidence in people. I think for Drew especially, he's the example of when he was in WWE previously, he was feast or famine. He was the chosen one pushed by Vince one week. And then, the next week he's playing an air guitar.
Yeah.
Since he's been back, they've let him do his thing for a little bit under Vince. And then Vince made him the guy who carries a sword and talks about William Wallace and all this other nonsense. And then as soon as he was gone, the real Drew came out, a guy who's very self-aware of how his character is being presented, how entertaining he can be while still being a heel. It's super fun to see, Dom. It's what you love to consume in your entertainment. And speaking of things that we love to consume, we want to talk about Factor. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Eat stress-free this spring with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. Also discover more than 60 add-ons every week, like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and beverages to help you stay fueled and feel good all day long. What are you waiting for? Get started today to fuel up your springtime goals. Guys, Factor kept me alive this past week. The combination of Passover, which is thankfully over, and my wife being away on a work trip. As a guy who cannot cook and was then on a very restricted diet, I was still able to pick and enjoy a ton of amazing options from Factor. I cannot praise this thing enough. I'm excited. Once this is done, I'm going to pop a Factor meal in and I'm going to eat it before I go try to get these concert tickets. But you guys, in the meantime, can head over to factormeals.com/rumor50 and use code rumor50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code rumor50 at factormeals.com/rumor50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active.
Yeah, I like it. What else do I like? I
couldn't tell you where you're going with this, and I'm very scared. Between the headband that you got going, people are very excited about the headband, and the mustache that was here before.
Robert, I like WCW. I liked it. It's no longer existing.
Wow. But, okay.
There's a documentary.
You know WCW is dead, right?
Yeah. But who killed it, Robert? We are going to find out here on a new docu-series.
Above average Mike Sanders. Everyone knows that.
Oh, was it him, you think? I don't know. I thought it was the powers that be. Either way, we're going to get a docu-series here coming up in tandem with $7 Production and the guys from Dark Side of the Ring. 4-part series. where they break down who killed WCW, rise and fall of WCW, as The Rock described it too. So obviously that's been a heavy ground that's been covered in a lot of ways, but under the WWE microscope of things and the revisionist history that kind of goes with some of those things.
How dare you?
It's true, Robert. You got to just face the facts. That's how it is. There was revisionist history when it comes to some of this stuff. But Kevin Nash, friend of me, friend of Click This, David Van Bogelen's in the chat, by the way. He's a big advocate of that. We will get to see Kevin Nash clarified. He said, no, this is not going to be something that the WWE Victor tells. It's going to be from our side of the story. No bullshit. Pardon my French. He quoted that. So
wow. You've been gone for one day and you've gone to Hollywood. Hollywood Dom over here thinks he can just pop in and just start throwing around inappropriate language. Look, I think the documentary, I know that Alvarez did a book about this. I know there's a lot of different people. Bischoff has talked about it significantly. So the Monday Night Wars documentary that the WWE made, fun fact, for a while, every employee when they started at WWE was given a copy of that DVD to watch. So you were being indoctrinated to understand. So if you were in different departments, it's like, hey, we're gonna teach you our history. There's a way to dig in and really be able to tell all the ways in which WCW died. And I think it's going to be really fun that it's produced by Vice. Vice has done a great job with the dark sides. My hope, since it is Rock involved, is that WWE will allow some folks to be able to participate and talk about this. At the same time, I want the same for Tony Khan, because you can't tell the death of WCW without a Tony Schiavone being allowed to go and talk, or a Sting, who was there until the lights went off, or a Ric Flair. So if it's everybody can come together to tell this story, oh man, I'm in. There's a plug here from a guy named Brian Heffron, never heard of him, that the Nitro book by Guy Evans is really good. Yes, I have heard that's an excellent book. Thanks, Brian Heffron. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know who that is.
Was he WCW? Was he the Yellow Submarine in WCW?
I hate you so much, Don. Yes, no, we love anytime Meanie drops in.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure. But yeah, no, I think the death of WCW is a very difficult, nuanced story. You're going to get into a lot of the inner workings of Turner and how they control their purse strings, and a competition of goals of what a variety of different people wanted. And I think if you, and I'm not plugging this because they're no longer part of the ad-free shows world, but he seems to have come up a lot today. The Arn Show, the very first stretch of those episodes when they were talking about the transition from Crockett to WCW, you started to hear and see what those seeds were, where the cracks in the foundation were starting to exist, and where it ultimately ended. And hopefully Tony Khan will not only lend some of his talent to it, he'll watch and learn some lessons, because you're starting to see some of the repeat problems occur here. And we'll see tonight who that new authority figure is. And Kevin Kellum has a suggestion. The AEW authority, you guessed it, Frank Stallone.
Yeah.
Oh, do I love that joke? I love any Norm Macdonald jokes. It's what I'm here for. What I'm also here for is to put over Dominic D'Angelo's other entertainment endeavors. Dom, where else can the fine people see and hear you?
Yeah, you can hear me at rvdtv.com. We have a new episode drop on Monday, every Monday, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this week, our special guest was Renee Dupree. So go to rvdtv.com. It's one of our most viewed episodes already on there. So check it out. It's a good, fun episode. Also be on the lookout for Right Down the Middle with Bill Alfonso. We're going to have a new show coming up in next week, I believe it is. Yes. So be on the lookout for that. More stuff coming from that front. And then go to fullhorsemanetwork.com. You can see Arn Anderson, but you can also see my show, Straight Talk with the Boss, Magnum TA and Greg Gagne. We cover Jim Cornette and Bobby Heenan this week. So good fun show there. Jim Cornette's been in the news, so plenty to talk about on that one.
Yes.
Robert.
Also give a quick shout out here to Click This.
Hey
yo.
Yeah.
Another podcast that I think you got your fingerprints on sometimes, Mr. D'Angelo.
Right.
I've got another podcast called Wrestle Roast, but it won't be called Wrestle Roast that much longer. We are changing the name, not the format. Show's still going to be Me and three incredibly talented comedians, Mike Lawrence, Dan St. Germain, and Scott Chaplin, talking wrestling. But we decided to tweak the name a little bit. Peek behind the curtain, Conrad Thompson not only heard the new name, saw the new artwork that Dom created, absolutely loves it. We're going to be revealing that this week. So get excited. I'm excited to be here every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, talking a little rumor and innuendo on the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the Dominic D'Angelo X account, the SE Scoops X account, the Podcast Heat X account. Podcast Heat is who makes this show possible, as well as the rumor and innuendo and ad-free shows, YouTube pages. Dom, we knocked it out of the park. I got concert tickets I got to worry about right now. So on behalf of the Hollywood megastar Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Come downstairs.